Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO Zach Stanley.
Donald, the NFL draft was everything that I expected and more.
And it's one round. We have six more of these.
Yeah, we got some more exciting stuff coming up. Should be big.
It is.
And a lot of players still left on the board that could have a fantasy impact next year.
It is. A lot of big things are coming up. Another big thing we got Nick Steblenko here.
TB2.
I am a big thing.
Okay, you took it literally. I mean, it's big that we have you on the show.
He's a large man.
Of course he takes it negatively. God,
I didn't take it negatively.
Why are you so negative,
His
Nick?
largeness is a positive.
Not even close.
For him.
I was trying to do your impression of me being negative all the time.
I know, but see, I keep it positive when you throw negativity towards me.
Oh, that's so cute. All right, today's Star Fantasy League show is going to be a little bit different because I'm pretty sure we joke about talking about the Bills on every single show, and today
we've actually got to talk about them.
We will be talking about the Buffalo Bills, probably for the entire show. You'll end up just like weaving them into every segment.
Slip it in.
That's all I want. It's my dream show.
Yep. Zach's got his Bills hat on. He's probably got Bills underwear on. He's got everything. He's got everything going on.
Yeah, I mean, he should. Today's his day.
It's official. The NFL is back. It's back in a big way. It was a boom. Day one of the draft was exciting. We're going to talk about that in Jonathan's mailbag. We got our NBA to talk about for the playoffs, but come on, we're kind of going to rush through that to talk about the NFL draft, aren't we?
Yeah, we're all about the draft right now. I was pretty pumped up watching Johnny Manziel, actually. I mean, some people criticize that he got so much exposure during the draft, but just watching him not get picked and not get picked and not get picked was fantastic.
Yeah, you got to see different shades
Grimacing.
of Johnny Manziel.
It's karmic justice to see him in the I was really hoping he didn't go in the first round, just so you could see him sitting there at the end of the night going, no, you can go home now, Manziel. See you later.
It really was like watching Brady Quinn.
Yeah, his facial expressions were priceless. They were great. Everything about it was great.
Nothing about Johnny Manziel is great, Nick. How dare you talk about him in that light?
They were hilarious.
He's going to the Browns. Good riddance. Get out of here. Steelers are going to destroy him twice a year. All right, coming out of the first break, we got NBA lineup breakdown with Nick Steblenko, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Now, let's get back to it. The Star Fantasy League Show. Feel free to tweet the show at SFL Show. Let's do this. Time for your Star Fantasy League's NBA Fantasy Lineup Breakdown.
As the man just said, it may be time to break down our NBA lineups, but is it NFL draft talk time yet?
We're getting there.
We're getting close, but
There's only so much we can say about these, 2 games each night lineups, especially when the draft's going on.
It's exciting. But come on, this might be one of the last times we get to make fun of Nick for a lineup he makes in NBA this season. So we have to take full advantage. Now he's going to say how he won last night. It's going to mean nothing because what he said beforehand is none of it matters.
I told you I believed in you.
Nothing matters.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your support, Zach. And as for you, Jonald,
yes,
you went down hard last night, and it was a pleasure to watch.
I'm going to completely ignore the phrasing you just said on that, and we're going to move on really quickly.
You lost badly last night.
He just said,
That's
I went down hard, and he enjoyed watching it. It got a little awkward. I'm not going to lie.
You take it however you want. You can take my eggs in the basket comment and run with it if you want to.
That might have been the best.
Mind.
All right, that might have been my favorite send-off of all time last night. You putting all your eggs in Corey Crawford's basket. That was a little weird.
That's your mind in the gutter.
He did it successfully, though.
I did.
With style.
He did. He put
the eggs in with style.
It was like an Easter parade.
Not a single egg broke.
Yeah, good for you. Were they hard-boiled?
No, they were not hard-boiled.
Oh,
it's even harder.
Even more impressive. All right, let's stop lollygagging around with our Easter egg talk. We got some basketball to talk about. Fantasy lineup breakdown on StarFantasyLeagues.com for Friday. I'm excited. 2 games going on. Hopefully, neither of these games will be blowouts, but who knows because this playoffs, the second round, have been atrocious so far.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just atrocious.
It really has. Do you think it's a You think it's a byproduct of the way that the NBA does their seeding? You know, they don't reseed in the second round, so there's always more potential for kind of a bigger mismatch, or
No, I mean, no, because in the West, every matchup is tough. But you can't say, like, the top seeds are getting easy matchups in the second round because San Antonio plays a 7-game series, and they're beating a team that only played a 6-game series. So, I mean, it has nothing to do with it. It's just a bad match. It's a bad matchup for Portland.
Fair enough.
They're young. They're trying to run with this team. San Antonio is an up-tempo team, and they're just getting run out of the building. Portland needs to slow it down, go inside, and they haven't understood that yet at all.
I don't think there is a clear answer to this one.
No.
I think
it depends on the
I think
matchup.
they're befuddled.
all right.
So.
All right.
All right, I got to give a spiel before you pick your players, and we attempt to make fun of you if you do poorly.
Attempt.
If you haven't played NBA on StarFantasyLeagues.com, you don't have much time to do it. Get in on the game before you run out of time. $10 free roll every single day. $50 free roll on Thursday for NBA. $100,000 salary cap. Pick 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 center, 2 utility. Any player you want. Stay under the cap. You get the most points, you win the most money. You could be Nick.
Soon it'll be the end of October when we see this again.
I know. Don't remind me.
I can't think about it.
I'm really depressed. But we got football to talk about, so let's
Dog days
go.
of summer.
Come on,
Still plenty of
let's
action
pick
to
your
come.
team so we can make the outro music go quicker and get to the NFL draft.
All right, fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, let's go.
All right, I want to actually start at the center position tonight.
No!
I have 3 centers. And
Stop
I think,
it.
there's a lot to talk about there. So,
Okay, on StarFantasyLeagues.com, the guards are at the top. I don't see centers on top.
listen, you can go in some linear fashion if you'd like. I'm going to bounce
What is
around.
this, Lost? You're going in a just
So
a
my
weird
first center
storyline?
of the night is Marcin Gortat, who I think we all agree is a must play.
Yeah?
Fine.
Okay.
He's at
Very well.
13,879.
He is okay, the weird thing is these series, all 4 of these series, it's really difficult to get centers. I don't know why. Like the first round, there were a bunch of great centers. You got Dwight Howard every night.
Mm-hmm.
This round, you're like, because DeAndre was so good in round 1, and then we go to round 2, and he is atrocious against this team.
This is why I wanted to talk about it, because I put in Kendrick Perkins and Roy Hibbert tonight, so I'm curious to see what you have to say.
Ooh, I'm interested in this because I had the Marcin Gortat Kendrick Perkins combo only because I like the idea of saving money, and I felt like that's the best place to save. Because if you're getting a value around 7,000 or 8,000, there's not that many people at that spot. It doesn't really allow you to move up to get the top guys. But putting in a guy Kendrick Perkins 55, 56 on StarFantasyLeagues.com allows you to get a top guy.
I think I put in Steven Adams.
You did put in Steven Adams.
Yep. You did.
So
Why?
why not?
Wait, okay, you like him playing
I
his
think he
14
can do
minutes a game?
No, he plays like 18 or 20.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think he could do enough to, get close to what Perkins did, and it gives me an extra $800 to play with.
Don't forget, neither of these games has been close. That's probably why he's playing a couple more minutes a game.
Nope.
They're dead minutes. Okay, if they play another blowout again, there you go. Steven Adams gets his extra 5 minutes at the end of the game.
So do you think Hibbert bounces back? Because, I mean, like I said,
I am honestly
didn't take him and then he blew
scared
up.
to death to put Roy Hibbert in my lineup.
As we all should be.
Yeah, I mean, because you could get the Roy Hibbert in game 1, you could get the Roy Hibbert in game 2, or you could get somewhere in the middle. It's a complete crapshoot.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows where he went up until last game. And then all of a sudden, he
home?
just... Yeah, I guess so.
Locker room? I don't know.
His mind was elsewhere, so it's very odd. I'm curious. I'm going to keep him in. He's just a shade under 10,000, so...
Hibby how, hibby wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about where he's at right now. Yeah,
right.
I mean, Hibbert, I wouldn't touch. I like to keep the more, like we said in the playoffs, you want to keep the guys that are consistent. I mean, obviously you want to keep the high ceilings.
I would touch him.
Yeah? Yeah, would you?
Why not?
Do you have him in your lineup?
Yep.
Do you really?
Yep.
Oh, wow. So Steven Adams and Roy Hibbert in your lineup?
Yes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
you're not going to jump all over that comment that he just made, but you're going to jump all over my cleverly put together eggs in a basket? Unbelievable.
That was just weird.
All right,
Egg
whatever.
McMuffins in a basket. Jeez, what's wrong with you? All right, continue.
If Roy Hibbert was in front of him, you wouldn't touch him?
All right, whatever. We're not going there. Hibbert is one of my
Smart
utility.
move. Smart move.
Hibbert is one of my utility guys. My other utility guy is going to be John Wall. I have 3 guards in tonight.
John
I know John.
I don't know what that was. I apologize to the listeners for your eardrums bursting. That's
That's what the announcer does.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, if that's not going
And
somewhere,
he holds it for
what are you
forever, and then
doing?
John Wall starts dancing and dugging, and
I think you made all this up.
I've been there. I've seen it.
John Wall
does
might
Dougie.
be one of my least favorite high-end plays of the day. He's probably on the bottom of top guys.
Yeah, he had a tough game last game, but the first game he was over 30. And, I mean, in the playoffs right now, you have to look for guys that are going to be getting over 30.
That team has been so balanced, and he's so expensive. I would much prefer anybody on offense aside from him.
Yeah, but he has to perform well for them to win.
Yeah, but sure. Then but his ceiling in this series, I think, is like 30 to 35. He doesn't have the ability to get like 50 because of how balanced that scoring offense is.
I would have sacrificed to get a couple more thousand in there.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think John Wall is someone I would ever. I mean, yeah, Chris Paul is miles ahead of him. His floor is basically John Wall's ceiling in the series.
Yeah, but Chris Paul is so expensive right now.
He's $20,000. You just said you spent $18 on John Wall.
No, John Wall's 16.7.
Oh, he's on. Okay, so he's basically plummeted because
Blake is 18.
Yeah, Blake's 18. Russell Westbrook's 19.
Kind of.
Yeah, he's around 19. I mean, even Paul George I'd prefer over John Wall.
He's got Paul George. I think.
Yeah, I do. I have Paul George.
So
but there's so few guys that you can get that are low ball numbers.
He's right. I mean, if you're trying to put together a rounded lineup, but I don't know.
If he got 30 points tonight with a rounded lineup, that's good. That's solid.
But somebody's going to get 50 tonight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would much prefer if you have the money to spend trying to get up to Chris Paul because I don't think you can get to Kevin Durant tonight, nor would I think you want to. Maybe Russell Westbrook at around 20 as well.
Who would you put in other than Kendrick Perkins to kind of balance that out, though?
I mean,
Steven Adams.
I managed to do it, putting in a bunch of 10 to 11. I have George Hill. I have Jamal Crawford. I got Bradley Beal. Those guys are all allowing me to put in one of the top guys at Chris Paul.
I have Bradley Beal and George Hill in.
Well, you tried to put in. You said you tried to put in two top guys. That's why I didn't put in two. I just put in the one guy I think can get.
See,
50.
and that's the thing is I think that Paul George and John Wall both going off for 30 is going to be better than Chris Paul doing 50 and Steven Adams probably going to get 5. Just saying. That's my opinion.
Okay, but I'm saying you also have Perk, who was my value that allowed me. You don't have George Hill tonight?
I do have George Hill.
Okay, so you
I
do.
have Bradley Beal and George Hill. Those are my two guards, other than John Wall, obviously. So
okay, I have no problem with. So your forwards, I'm assuming you saved some money on. Then you have
David West. I have David West in, and I mean he had a bad game last game, but I think that was kind of because Hibbert got the rock so much.
That's 9. Okay, that's why you have so much money. You put in Hibbert and Kendrick Perkins. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean. We save money in different spots. I have Jamal Crawford instead of your Roy Hibbert, basically, and I could still get in Chris Paul.
Yeah, Crawford just makes me nervous because, like we've said, he kind of relies on the points.
Let's go. I'm sticking. I told you. I think
you've gotten an A instead of Paul George. That allows you to get in Chris Paul.
Yeah. I actually we talked about it on Thursday's show. The Sixth Man of the Year award will be presented to Jamal Crawford before the game. I think that's going to be one of the deciding factors from this weird intangible standpoint that. If you didn't know about it, that's one of the things that you really have to look at.
No, you're right. I mean, and when he does go off, when he does have a good shooting night, he's going to far surpass that.
Yeah,
value.
the problem is it's either him or JJ Redick, and JJ Redick is, I think I said 8 for 16.
He's also known as a hardcore Bills fan, so I think that could weigh into things.
Oh, look at that! I said in the opening segment we've managed to weave the Bills into every single discussion tonight. You did it.
Just look at his Twitter account; it's all Bills.
Congratulations, Zach! You managed to get the Buffalo Bills into yet another conversation that has nothing to do with the Buffalo Bills. Coming out after the break,
go Bills!
We are talking Buffalo Bills in John Old's mailbag. It's mailbag time.
Mailbag,
and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
The Star Fantasy League Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
Do not tweet us. It's NFL mailbag draft talk.
Hashtag draft, baby. Hashtag just draft, baby.
That's the worst hashtag in the history of Twitter. I'm sorry.
Hashtag go Bills.
You're not allowed. Okay, fine. You can do that.
Just Bills.
We're not gonna just like screw around at the opening of the Giants mailbag like we always do because we have a lot to talk about. A lot that happened in the draft last night, and there's some random stories I want to talk about.
Okay.
A lot of stuff. All right, let's get right into it. Kenny D writes, the Buffalo Bills. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills made a trade into the top 5 to select Clemson wide receiver Sammy Watkins. I'm curious to hear a Bills fan's take on the trade and the selection. All right, we have Bills fans in the building, so we can do this.
Kenny D wrote us yesterday, too. What a guy.
I know, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's really bringing it.
I think
Kenny.
He's related to Kenny G.
Thanks for listening, Kenny.
Yeah,
Kenny
thank you.
D is related to Kenny G.
No.
That's not possible.
What? How do you know?
Because that would be different
That's
last
not Kenny G's real name.
I think it is.
Oh, his name is an initial? Really?
Yes.
Get out of here.
So about this not screwing around and talking about the Bills thing.
Okay. First of all, this is one of the top prospects in the draft.
I saw a lot of teams had him as like the second overall player in this draft.
They did. And he fell to fourth. I think after Jacksonville didn't select him, there was a big opening there. And with the path that Cleveland wanted to go, it made sense they wanted to move down. I've been watching film all day. I love what I'm seeing out of Sammy Watkins. I liked him before, but now I really like him. And, of course, as a Bills fan, I'm trying to be positive that we're doing everything right.
I say, but do you think that they gave up just way too much to move up?
Well, here's the thing, is what they did to move up is going to end up panning out, in my opinion, as a first-rounder. They gave up another first-rounder because, as we just saw, they traded Stevie Johnson.
They did.
And they got either the same draft pick, same round, fourth-round pick that they gave up for next year, or it becomes a third based on his performance. So, and not to mention they're losing all that salary. So, I think they had a plan. I think that's clear, and I think right now that's looking pretty good.
So this makes more sense now. What they're giving up in Stevie Johnson allows them to pick up a guy in free agency who could be comparable to whatever they're losing in their first-round pick. I mean,
and
obviously
pay him less out of the gate.
I mean, the question of whether or not they gave up too much, just compare it to what Atlanta did a couple years ago for Julio Jones. They gave up 5 draft picks to get him, and he is a stud. He is a number one wide receiver on any team in the NFL. He's an all-star, whatever Pro Bowl.
Wasn't Atlanta like way down in the draft at that time?
Yeah, they were good. They were 13-3 the year before.
Yeah,
they went from being like.
Yeah, you're right.
I think they. I want to say they lost in conference area, somewhere around there.
I mean, the Bills needed to make a bold move. They really did. And they went out and they did it. So if they shoot themselves in the foot, it is what it is. But at least they went after the guy that they really wanted to get in Sammy Watkins. So I really think this kid could be an all-pro player. Easily. Hands down.
This makes a lot more sense. It's easier to stomach for Bills fans now that you don't have Stevie Johnson there because, I mean, they kept saying, oh, he's on our team, he's on our roster, he's going to be a Buffalo Bill. And then the second they take Sammy Watkins, you're like, ooh, I hope they get rid of Stevie Johnson. And then they do. So.
And I read some quotes from the Clemson coach, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
And just talking about his humility and that his work ethic. Just he really seems like the complete package.
He's
not
a burner.
He's not a entitled, outspoken guy. Really works hard, and he's from Clemson, and so is C.J. Spiller.
I have a question since you're done with the Stevie Johnson era. Can you speak freely about him now?
Sure.
Not like in the fandom.
Not in a bias.
Did he have the worst hands of any receiver you've ever seen?
No. Not at all.
Stevie Johnson dropped like so many
when Ryan Fitzpatrick was the quarterback, he made Ryan Fitzpatrick look like a starting quarterback in the NFL.
But he still drops the ball.
Oh, come on. So, okay,
often.
what are you referring to, like the big drop pass against the Steelers?
Yeah, of course
I knew you were. Yeah, no. Stevie Johnson is a great wide receiver. I think he's fantastic, but I also think he has character issues, and I think that those are going to weight down a young team that's trying to rebuild when he has the attitude of, what about me? He just seems that he has that attitude, like, what has this team done for me lately? And that's not what this team needs.
Well, then he's going to the perfect team in the 49ers. Jim Harbaugh's going to kick him in the ass.
Yep,
I think regardless of how E.J. Manuel ends up panning out, I think we're seeing the compilation of a team of solid character for the most part. Players that want to be there, want to be in Buffalo, that want to work hard.
Look at this wide receiving core now. This is actually looking like it's going to shape up pretty nicely.
I actually like it a lot.
Yeah, if Williams can kind of get his off-the-field issues under control, which I think should help.
You mean being stabbed in the leg? Off-field issue?
Okay, but you surround yourself with some bad people, bad things are bound to happen. Whatever.
That was his brother that stabbed him.
I know, that's what
leg.
I mean. If you're going to surround yourself with bad people, bad things will happen. But so now they have Mike Williams, they have Watkins, they have Robert Woods, and they have Marquise Goodwin, who really actually could start developing into a solid fourth wide receiver.
With Stevie out, those guys both stepped up.
Robert Woods, I think we just saw a shade of what he's capable of.
Yep, absolutely. And as E.J. Manuel and company grow together, you're just going to be able to see them doing more things with that offense. I think it's going to be really exciting.
And I think there's a great chance that they end up getting a solid tight end in the second round. If that ends up being the case, okay, of course they didn't get their offensive tackle that we were talking about, that we mentioned. They haven't gotten him yet. However, what they need is a team that can stretch out the field so that the running game actually is viable.
Yep.
And that's what those are the additions that they're making right now. They have a team that can, like, especially adding Watkins now. He can stretch the field. Goodwin can stretch the field. A lot of deep threats. If they end up getting a solid tight end that can contribute offensively, that just makes it even better.
There's plenty of picks left for them to pick on the O-line. There really are. There's tons of talent out there. They'll be fine.
All right, well, this is a good point to move on. We're going to continue talking about the NFL draft, obviously, but there's 31 other selections that were made outside of Sammy Watkins.
Doesn't feel like it.
No. In Rochester, it doesn't feel like it, obviously, Bills fans. All right, Josh S. writes, the first round of the NFL draft is in the books, and there was intrigue throughout. Which pick were you most surprised, excited, or flabbergasted about? I like that word.
Let me give a surprised right now. Blake Bortles.
3 at 3.
3. Who?
Yeah. Why did they trade back?
I don't know. Amongst expert drafts, and they could have traded with the Bills too.
I'll say they could have got the same exact package. I'm sure for 3.
But amongst all the experts, he was ranked 17th for where he was going to get picked on average. And the highest that anybody had him going was 5th. So it was a very big surprise.
I understand that.
I understand why they did it, but it was a shock for a number 3 pick.
It was a shock, but I think you got to, if you're going to go for the guy that you want to go for, you stay there and you take him. I didn't say that well, but what I mean to say is that why wait? Why trade down? If you know that you want a quarterback, go after the quarterback you want. Give it a go. I just feel that, with Jacksonville's recent QB struggles in the draft, we might be looking at a repeat.
Although this one actually makes more sense.
I think so too.
Remember when they should have taken Tebow, the whole Florida connection. Even if he's a bust, he sells tickets for you. He brings people in the door. And
but Bortles isn't Tebow.
No, but I'm saying he's a Florida product. Maybe bring some of the people that were fans over at UCF over to the Jacksonville franchise. Just something. Obviously, Manziel might have done the same thing from just a crazy standpoint.
Yeah,
but
they sold like 1,500 season tickets last night.
It's big in the draft. What are you actually going for? And
what are you doing?
Right, people make trades because of that, and that usually ends up being a pretty wise decision. When you look at Jadeveon Clowney, all the talk about Houston, what they want, whether they wanted him, whether they felt like he filled that position properly for them, which was a ridiculous conversation in my opinion.
Right.
But there is a difference between this is the best available guy and this is who we want.
Yep.
And obviously, Blake Bortles was the guy that they wanted.
Yeah, I guess so. And another one of those surprises was Justin Gilbert, not only going to 8 for the Browns, but they traded from Monaco. So they traded with the Bills to get the 9th pick. And then they traded to get the 8th pick with the Vikings, who clearly everyone thought they were going quarterback. They ended up waiting until 32. They traded to get Teddy Bridgewater. But why would you trade and then trade a 4th-round pick to move up one spot when did they get word that maybe their guy was coming off the board? This guy was a mid to late first-round projection, and they took him at 8.
Yeah, there's so many different things that happen behind the scenes that I don't think we're very privy to. So you never know what the conversation was. As far as, who they picked there with Gilbert, look at that secondary now. They really bolstered their secondary. Joe Hayden's one of the premier shutdown corners.
They don't need him to come in and be the shutdown guy, getting the top receiver. He's coming in
for number 2.
That's amazing. That's like when
it's a great situation for him.
That's like when they had Rogers Cromartie alongside of Darrelle Revis in New York. It's like, don't come in to be this first guy. Go ahead and you can be alongside the best cornerback in the league. That's exactly what Joe Hayden is, basically top 3 cornerback in the league right now.
Yep.
So guess what? Have some fun, Justin Gilbert. It doesn't matter. You can be terrible, and they're going to be like, yeah, it's all right.
But as far as the Manziel pick, I've been saying I think he's going to be a bust all along. This is very reminiscent of what they did with Brady Quinn. They got him in the first round as their second pick in the first round. It just seemed like it was literally a picture perfect match from that
Speaking
draft.
of picture perfect, when he comes up on stage, he did the money sign again.
He's a jerk. He's a jerk.
What's wrong with him?
He's full of himself. He's arrogant, and I think it's going to come back to kick him right in the ass.
So wait, you're saying Manziel did go
and
first?
He celebrated with Drake after.
Yeah, of course
good
he
for
did.
him.
God, Drake is everywhere.
Yeah,
Drake cut it out.
Oh yeah, he was taking pictures with Clowney.
The Toronto Raptors are out of the playoffs, so Drake goes back to being a whatever sports fan he wants to be.
Yeah. Well, if you can get your face out there, that's how you make
money.
I
think
right?
Gilbert was a huge surprise. Him and Bortles are 2 of the lower rated guys in the top 10 for their perceived value.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting going forward to see. Also, the whole thing with Bridgewater was a shock in terms of him at the end of the season and how his stock dropped. I think the Vikings, whether it pans out or not, they made out with that pick.
Yeah, they got it really late too.
Yeah, and they moved up to just the right time, right in front of Houston, because Houston could have taken him.
My
at
favorite
33.
was how the Giants and the Jets basically switched mentalities. The Giants were going wide receiver over defense when clearly their defense was one of the worst in the league last year, and the Jets, who needed a receiver, went free safety when their defense was actually pretty good. They're doing the exact opposite of what they needed.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, especially because you need to get Geno Smith some freaking help.
Exactly. They did the exact opposite. These teams are switching. I don't know what's going on. New York.
Go Bills.
Maybe. Okay. Now the Bills are going to supplant both the Jets and the Giants. It's happening.
Ha ha.
All right, coming back, we got all your value plays for Saturday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. You listen to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at StarFantasyLeagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Donald, Teddy Bear 2, and the Deucey Moose. Only on the team.
We're going to try our best to get through this segment without Zach ruining it with some noises that happen.
What up, the team? What up, Rochester? Go Bills.
Yes. Let's talk more Bills. Let's not talk more Bills.
You know, we talked about the Bills, but what do you think of the Steelers pick?
I don't know enough about him. All I know is that
Shazier?
Shazier, yeah. All I know about that is
I've heard a lot of good things.
Reading through all the projections, nobody had him going to the Steelers at all. He was a lot later projection than that. They wanted Denard, depending on who announces his name. He has a brother in the NFL, and they pronounce his name differently.
Yeah, right.
So good for you, Denard, whatever. I don't know.
Thanks a lot, Boomer Esiason.
We need a cornerback. Ike Taylor's 104. Ryan Clark's gone. So I don't know. I want to see how the rest of the draft rolls out to really make an opinion. But I mean, we got another linebacker. That's the Steelers' kind of MO.
Bring back Ward. Bring back Ward.
Hines Ward?
I don't know. I mean, they could.
Hines Ward's like 107.
He's too busy making movies.
No, Hines Ward works in
He's too busy being in the Dark Knight.
He works for NBC. He's friends with my buddy. They like to hang out.
Good.
Kind of weird.
Good for them.
I want to hang out with him.
Yeah, I would want to hang out with him too. He seems like a very
He promised me,
likable fella.
man. Nigel, get at me. Why don't I get to hang out with
shot.
Oh, that's his nickname.
Hines Cheap Shot Ward.
Cheap Shot Ward.
Sounds about right. All right, we got to get to value plays for Saturday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. No more lollygagging. Playoffs are in full swing right now. We got NBA, we got NHL, only 2 games tonight to talk about. So we're going to quickly blast through those, give us who you like, all that good stuff. Start with NHL with Nick, and then do basketball. And then we're going to do a lot more with baseball than we've been doing normally.
The transition has started.
It's Stanology time. It's going to be all baseball all the time on the Star Fantasy League show. And we're going to start getting into that.
Good.
Sounds good.
So NHL, ready? Make your picks go.
All right, sounds good. If you watched last night, Anaheim pulled within 1, so they brought the series to 2-1.
Go Ducks.
They're playing in LA, so that's formidable to say the least. But Frederick Anderson got hurt towards the end of the game, so we got to watch his status for Game 4. If he is ready to go, I like him for my goalie of the night. Either way, I'm going to take one of the Ducks goalies. So if Jonas Hiller is in, I think Hiller's played fine, so I'm not really sure why he lost his job. But in any case, I think it has more to do with what the Ducks did in front of him. They played a complete game, and I know a lot of people are saying that the Kings came back towards the end. Did you see Mike Richards' goal? Did you see he smacked it out of midair? Totally lucky. It wasn't Hiller's fault at all. Nobody could have done anything.
That sounds like a goal from the Mighty Ducks movies, not from a Mighty Ducks game.
It really was. It was. So I don't think Hiller will have a problem if the Ducks continue to play that well in front of him. So either Hiller or Anderson, whoever starts, just make sure you know who is going to be starting. And then the other game we have is Montreal versus Boston. And
2-2.
Yeah.
2-2.
I know, John, I know you're a fan of Boston, but you got to be a little bit nervous with the way that they're playing. Just a little bit.
Poorly?
Yeah. Well, Montreal's controlling the flow of the game.
They barely got out of there with that one last night.
They really did. It was kind of a garbage goal, but those happen in overtime. You know what they say, if you throw the puck on net, anything can happen.
Especially if you're the Bruins.
I think Montreal is going to continue to control the flow of play, and I like Thomas Plekanec for my skater of the day. He's a gritty player, gets lots of ice time, and I think that he's the kind of player that needs to step up in a game like this. And I still like Montreal to take this series in 6. I think they're going to win the next 2 games.
He's also known to be a true-life Bills fan.
You just assume everybody's a Bills fan. Wow. All right, we got to get
Thomas Plekanec
and Frederick Anderson
on
Jonas
the
Hiller.
next show of True Life, I'm a Bills fan.
Yeah, exactly. True Life. MTV's True Life. I'm a Bills fan.
That way.
That show got canceled immediately. It didn't actually happen. All right, let's get into NBA for Saturday. 2 games, 2 series that have only had blowouts. There haven't been any close. Actually, okay, Brooklyn hung tight until the 4th quarter, and then Miami just went, see ya.
I couldn't believe that.
What, that it was
They were
close the
in
entire
it.
way?
Yeah, they were in it, and it was
Even
like
still, Miami kept their distance. They were still up by like 8 points for the
No,
most part.
it was down to like 4.
it was tied at one point.
I remember late in the third, it was around 2-4, whatever, something like that.
Unbelievable.
All right, Miami, Brooklyn. LeBron James has really been facilitating in this series because he's so expensive and because he's doing this instead of being like the typical LeBron. I wouldn't touch him with a 48-foot pole.
This series is over. It's not. I mean, maybe Brooklyn steals
Really?
one.
You think it's completely over?
Yeah, I do.
They're going back to Brooklyn.
Well, maybe Paul Pierce needs to start actually acting like he's still alive.
Yeah,
I think going home is going to have a big deal.
that's what I actually agree
You
with.
think they can
completely.
win both at home?
No.
I don't think they can win both.
No,
but
this-
I think
this-
they can have a shot.
So that's the series then. If they don't win both.
Yeah, they need. They absolutely need to win this game, and because of it, that's one of those intangible things. You need to win a game 3. I'm looking for both Joe Johnson and Paul Pierce to step it up on the offensive end. Again, they're super cheap. $10,960 for Johnson, $10,842 for Paul Pierce. I think you need to have both of them in your lineup if you're going to do anything viable.
No,
Okay.
I'm going to change my thought. I do think they can win both at home.
Oh my!
I do.
Stop.
So
I do.
Are you calling that?
I think they can.
Well, a walrus can find a blind nut.
Well, you remember, it doesn't matter what we say
I
because
think-
whatever happens, happens.
Thank you for ruining the entire premise of our show, Nick. These are the things we tell you, but anything can happen. Don't worry about it.
I think Brooklyn is going to come out and they're going to win this game.
A guy that's
Okay.
on.
All right, that is fine. You just predicted game 3.
Yeah.
All right, fine. They're going to win 3 and 4. They're winning both of them.
All right.
All right,
Put me to the wall.
On the value end, I think Sean Livingston's been pretty good in this series. 17.5 fantasy points, only 86.77 on StarFantasyLeagues.com.
He's a concern.
Yeah?
His minutes have been a concern for, the tail end of last series, the beginning of this series. It really all depends. If Marcus Thornton shows up, if
Good luck.
For some reason Alan Anderson is playing really well, certain things like that, just different factors that can come into play for Sean Livingston. He's a risk, but not a bad salary. I suppose.
I personally didn't go with anybody under 10,000 or above 15,000 for Saturday.
So you're
I like
super rounded.
the super round lineup.
I can agree with that, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many players that you can look at that are on that upper tier.
Yeah, here's-
and this night, these two games,
They're weird.
A little bit less of a factor than what's going to happen.
Yeah, I wanted
in
to ask you
OKC.
about this because my last spot was the 15,000 range. I had an option between Damian Lillard and Tim Duncan, and I actually had Lillard in there originally because I thought the same thing. Portland needs to win Game 3. He's the facilitator. If he doesn't have a monster game, they're gonna be swept out of this.
I'm going Lillard all the way.
Are you? See,
Yeah.
I put Duncan in only because he's at or around 30 points, and I think consistency on this night when it's a rounded lineup is more important than the upside, to be honest.
I mean, Duncan's been playing ridiculously consistent. He's been
He
playing
was
a fantastic
terrible
play.
last night.
He still got his fantasy points.
No, he didn't.
He still got 30 fantasy points.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
I do not believe that.
Okay, well, we'll look it up in the interim, but Lillard
Wrong
does.
again.
You're wrong.
Bo.
24, sorry.
24.
Still, not the worst. Not
Okay,
the
but
worst
that
result
isn't
in the
even
world.
close for him to making value.
No.
He had
But-
10
and
points.
what's Lillard
10
been
points,
doing?
6 boards, 3 assists, and 3
Lillard
blocks.
hasn't been doing anything.
Lillard had 19, 5, and 5. That was better.
Yep, and Aldridge was the one that disappeared.
Boom!
Yeah, Aldridge disappeared.
Taste it.
The consistency has come from Kawhi Leonard because for some reason Portland wants to run in the series, and when they run, Kawhi is the one who
That's
benefits.
Teddy Bear's boy.
Called it.
Yeah, Kawhi, Tony Parker, both averaging over 33 fantasy points in this series.
Wait, what were the combos that we had? We had Duncan and Kawhi versus who? We had
I had
Diaw and
Dion Aldridge.
Aldridge,
It was because Aldridge was terrible.
Yeah,
I
Aldridge
really
had a
didn't
really
because
out game.
Dion still got his 18 fantasy
I
points. He was
said
fine.
Duncan and I said
Yeah,
Duncan and
you were
Kawhi.
right. All right.
Why
also,
not?
The combination of Dion Splitter, they're averaging, they're still getting their fantasy points. Splitter was okay, got 24. Dion's around 20. I still would look at Manu. I mean, I'm all over the San Antonio team. I just think they're that good.
they're cruising right now.
They are.
Manua.
And yeah, Aldridge is having some trouble.
Manua Ginobili.
Would not touch him. Who you guys your play of the day in NBA?
I'm going to go ahead and say Paul Pierce.
Really?
Who is going to put together a 27-point performance.
Wow. All right.
Not fantasy. He's
Just
going
point.
to score 27 straight up
I think he needs to. Yeah, but I'm going to go with Damian Lillard because I think he has the potential to have what they need to be a monster game to not be swept out of the
Both
series.
of the away teams are favored by 1.5 points.
Interesting,
that?
which means they're going to sweep, most likely. All right, let's get into MLB. We want to talk as much as possible at MLB. We got quite a bit of time to talk. Let's get into Stanology. Explain what it is and just break it down for us.
Well, every day for what's going to be an entire week of runtime, we are going through different baseball stats that can factor into your daily fantasy lineup.
Yeah, we're in day 3
for
of
MLB.
Stanology.
Things that you want to look at that are much more important, believe it or not, than batting average and ERA.
Yep.
So today, what I have is batted ball data, which is the league average of all the different types of balls that are hit, line drives, fly balls, ground balls. League average of ground balls is 44%. Historically, line drives are worth 1.26 runs per out. Fly balls are worth 0.3 runs per out, and grounders are worth 0.05 runs per out. So you can see the massive difference in both line drive hitters and pitchers that either are ground ball pitchers and how well that can play into your selection.
So basically, you want ground ball pitchers, but
Ground
not
ball pitchers,
ground ball
line drive
batters.
hitters.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
That's some interesting data right there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Thank you.
Stanometrics.
Man, it is. Stop trying to change the name, guys. If you want us to change the name, come up with a name for us.
Well, this way, Stanology can be like transcendent. You know, it can be for every sport.
You got to tweet us at SFL Show. We want to hear what you think about Stanology.
How
Stan
excited
metrics.
are you for NFL Stanology?
No, not happening. All right, let's get into your batter of the day,
Draftology.
your pitcher of the day, some matchups you like, some stacks. Let's get it all out on the
Okay,
table.
my batter of the day is Carlos Beltran, who,
Really?
yeah. Listen, I usually don't like the batter versus pitcher business, but you got to listen to this. 62 plate appearance, 25 for 51. That's a 490 batting average with 6 doubles, 4 jacks, 12 RBIs, and 11 walks. That's a 1.415 OPS. He's been slumping a little bit, but I think this matchup is just what the doctor ordered.
Nice.
So, and they're in Miller Park, Great Hitters Park. Now, my pitcher, Giordano Ventura, who has just been dominating this season, 2-1 with a 2.00 ERA. More importantly, 41 strikeouts and 36 innings pitched. Crushed Seattle in his second major league start last year. Current Mariners hitters versus him are 1 for 14. Safeco Field, Great Pitchers Park. He's got everything working for him. Value play, Ryan Howard, who's at 5,895.
Wow.
I think he's having a nice bounce back. And power is so big when it comes to daily fantasy baseball. He's on pace for 35 home runs. He's really hitting his stride.
And Philly's been they've been pretty good on offense recently, haven't they? I've seen that series with Colorado. They put up a ton of runs.
And 6 of the 7 hits that Ryan Howard has had for his career versus Dylan Gee, home runs.
Gee.
6 of
Great name.
7.
Gee. There's actually a lot of pitchers out there tomorrow night that I like. There really are. And they're all really kind of around the same price. Like Ventura's at $14.5. And then if you look, Sonny Gray is at $15.3.
And we like Sonny Gray.
Love Sonny Gray. He's having a hell of a season. 4-1 with a 1.91 ERA and 40 strikeouts. So that's really nice, and especially for Oakland because they've had so many issues with their pitching staff. Then you also have Nathan Eovaldi, who's actually had a really nice start as well. So all those guys right around the same price. It kind of just matters who you like to roll with. So
All right, so
I'm stacking the Yankees.
are you?
Stacking
really?
in pinstripes. Yep.
So we know for a fact you're going with Carlos Beltran as part of your stack since he is your play of the day. Who else do you
Ellsbury,
like?
Teixeira, Soriano, who's had 4 home runs versus Loesch in his career. Carlos Beltran. Loesch pretty good so far this year.
Hasn't he been in the league for like 20 years? I
Yeah.
feel like Carlos is always around.
Yeah, I think his career average is going to start, he's older. He's going to start pushing back towards that
I would
career
say,
average,
which
is pretty average.
Especially with veteran pitchers, you're probably going to regress.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah, I don't see it lasting. Miller Park, Great Hitters Park, 5th most home runs in 2013 in that park. I think the Yankees are a good stack.
Nick, you got any extra hitters you might want to throw in there for Saturday?
Well, you know how much I like Wade Miley? I love Wade Miley because you get to stack the heck out of the other team.
I thought you were going to say you like Wade Miley. I was like, what are you doing?
No, he's terrible this year. He's got a 5.14 ERA, so I love right-handed batters against Miley, especially because they're playing the White Sox, and Chicago's ballpark is a great place to play if you're a hitter.
U.S. Cellular Field, I believe. Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
All right, who do you like?
So I got Tyler Flowers is a nice value pick. Jose Abreu, Dion Viciedo, and Alexei Ramirez are all great picks tomorrow.
Yeah, let's go with the right Abreu. Jose Abreu, not
Abreu.
Bobby, 49 years old.
Bobby be hitting.
No, not Bobby Abreu. All right, coming up after the break, we are breaking down all of our value plays for Saturday on StarFantasyLeagues.com and wrapping up the show. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Won't you tweet us? Won't
When
you
the
tweet us?
draft's on, they
right.
can trade us.
Is that what you trying to do? Smells like what was that? Was that some Nirvana attempt there?
Kind of.
Wow, that was bad.
Go draft.
That song was...
Yeah, go draft.
good.
Everybody, if you're listening to the
What will the second round bring?
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
If you're listening to the show right now, go watch the draft after this is over. I appreciate you guys listening to us while the draft's going on. That shows your priorities are in the wrong spot, but whatever. It happens.
Keep your TV muted for the next 2 minutes.
Yep, that's fine. All right, we're going to keep your TV muted because we have the value plays to go over.
Mm-hmm.
In Major League Baseball, Zach likes Carlos Beltran and Yordano Ventura. And you also like Ryan Howard and pretty much every Yankee that exists against Kyle Lohse.
Yep.
Because he's terrible.
Yep.
And he's 100.
Yep.
All works for you, right?
I feel good about it.
Okay. Who else did you like?
Anyone from Chicago, from the White Sox tomorrow.
Okay.
Love it.
You liked picking on Wade Miley. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I do.
I forgot something. I also like the Buffalo Bills today.
Oh, my. He actually went to his piece of paper to pull that out. You're the worst.
You know who's back tomorrow, though? Irvin Santana. I'm excited to see how he does.
Ooh. All right. NHL. Nick goes with anybody starting in net for Anaheim. Doesn't matter who it is.
I just think Anaheim's going to come out strong and win another.
And Thomas Plekanec.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Don't know his name, but sure.
The Sloth. The Sloth is persevering right now.
And in the NBA, Zach went out on a super limb. So did I, actually. Paul Pierce, your play of the day.
Paul
and
Pierce.
I'm on Damian Lillard. Both guys at home in Game 3 need to win or they're done.
Yeah, Paul Pierce, it's time to wake up and show that you're not scared.
I don't think he's scared. I think he's
I don't
old
think he is.
I think his team sucks.
He's slow.
I think he needs that wheelchair to bring him into the stadium.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't matter because I'm going with him tomorrow because I just apparently predicted they're going to win the next 2 games. So.
Yeah, you did, man.
Go Nets.
You're pulling a Seth Young and flip-flopping like crazy right now. I'm
and
going to pick him.
Darren Williams, it would be a good idea if you could actually get 1 point on the board.
Yeah, that might help.
That might actually
That
help.
would be good for you.
Don't pull a Roy Hibbert. Please don't do that.
Darren
All right.
Williams, remember when you were good?
Yeah, we got to give away free money on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Tweet us at SFL Show. $5 free in your account. Just give us a username. Thousands of dollars in guaranteed prize pools every single night. We got free rolls every single night. A lot going on.
I'll credit them personally.
It's spelled STUBB. My screen name?
No, it's not. Stop it. How dare you?
More Stanology coming on Monday.
That is true. We got a lot coming on Monday. Everything's going on. And if you think Paul Pierce loves his wheelchair, you are wrong, Nick. Take it easy, guys.
Truth.